Hi, Dr. Kate here. How's everybody's Sunday? All right, so yesterday I talked quite a bit about boundaries, and today I wanted to talk about what happens when we set boundaries and what do we get into practice when we do set boundaries. Um, if you were a prior people pleaser, right? I am a prior people pleaser. I can still struggle with wanting to have people like me sometimes. And that way of being as a woman is really difficult to learn to have boundaries because it means people may not be happy with you. And we have to be really pretty set and loving in ourselves in order to be ready for that, right? To break that people-pleasing pattern means we have to be okay in ourselves if people are unhappy with us. Or if the person we set boundaries with then leads to other people not liking whatever our boundary chose. And I've had that happen a few times in my life, right? Where I had to really listen to what I needed. And it not just meant that I wasn't going to have a connection with this one person, but it also meant there was possibly a fallout. And that, I think, is a big piece of perhaps why, as people pleasers, hi, Michelle, thanks for saying hardest pattern to break. I know, isn't it? It's like if we have not had a sense of autonomy and being okay in ourselves, we look for people to make happy, to take care of, so that we feel connected. And the work that I do and that I've done for myself and with others is how do we learn to be okay and connected here so that we aren't giving ourselves away trying to be liked. That if there's a relationship there, it needs to be an authentic relationship where we're just not taking care of that person and pleasing them, right? Hi, Nancy. Good to see you. Far out. So we're talking about how hard it is as a people pleaser to set boundaries because it means there might be something happening that we're not in charge of. And that's what I really realized is as a people pleaser, I was trying to keep everybody happy all the time, so I felt a sense of safety and control. And the truth is, ladies, we don't have control of that. We don't have control of people and how they perceive us. We don't have control whether people like us. So our work, our personal work, is to show up and really be more contained and loving and present in ourselves so that we can be more us and real in our relationships. And that means we can say, no, I don't want to go to that event with you. And it's not going to be a shitstorm, right? Of either that person being upset or we're feeling guilty and worried. So that's like this really deep work that I call working on being the queen of your mind, is we really start clearing out those mental patterns and habits we have of coping through people pleasing to feel safe. And that we learn to disable those old beliefs and have new ones that are really about loving and showing up for ourselves so that our relationships are more authentic. And as a result, there's room for everybody to be true to themselves, right? Nobody's having to give in to the other in order to like concede and not rock the boat and not make anybody unhappy. And I feel like as a culture, as women, this is our work, right? This is our work in stepping forward and empowering ourselves to be more loving and present in ourselves so we can be more honest with others. And that just takes practice. Because what I've been sitting with, because I had some big boundaries I had to set this last week, is there's sadness, right? There's sadness in letting go when you have to create that change and do it to honor yourself, but it means letting go of what you thought that relationship could be, right? Or what you thought that community was for you. And it's letting go of all of those ideas we have and being able to be really brave and look at what's true. And as a people pleaser, I think we're really good at not doing that. We can be really good at wanting to see what we want to see and not seeing the things that are actually true. And so it's so much about stepping into the truth of who we are and who other people are, and not having to be attached to that people-pleasing desire for things to just be okay all the time. Hi, Michelle. Change always involves a level of grief. Yes, ma'am. Hey, Lori, watching from Hawaii. Right on. Yes, honesty, courage, and genuineness. So, we're all in it, because I think I haven't met one woman who hasn't had to work on this to some degree. Some of us were a little more stubborn, right? We really hold on to those people-pleasing patterns, and we don't recognize how it hurts us, right? We don't recognize where it gets in our way of growing, or it gets in our way of valuing what we really need, because we're like, oh, but this person's happy, so I'm going to do it their way. Like, man, it has been like trudging through the mud for me to keep evolving in this area, because there's some part of me that just wants it all to be okay. And it's not okay. Like, nothing's okay if I'm not being real. So, hi, Mary. Hi, Tamara. Hi, April. So, yeah, so changing the people-pleasing pattern is, it's like walking through mud. And you've got to be willing to persevere, and you've got to be willing to be courageous and love yourself and be compassionate when you fall back in it again and again, and keep showing up to find your truth and your voice. And then, like we've talked about, be willing to do the grief work that comes with change, with letting go, with setting boundaries, because that's just as important. If we don't let ourselves be sad about a change, then we're missing the complete cycle of what that gift was, right? When we can go the full cycle and feel the sadness and the loss while we set those boundaries, then we get the whole picture. We get to integrate all of that, and that becomes, guess what? Us showing up and being more there for ourselves, more real, more valuing, more loving of ourselves. And I don't know about you gals, but to me, like, that's what this is all about, is learning how to love ourselves more so that we can show up in our lives, in our relationships, in our businesses, and be of service and be connected the best way possible. We can't be really connected if we're people pleasing. Like, that really hit me hard in my marriage. I was like, I'm people pleasing, and therefore I'm not being authentic and real. Therefore, we're not really connecting, right? And that's like a pretty big hit on the noggin, right? So I want to invite you. Hey, Nance, what you got? Yes. Queen of my mind, people pleasing is draining. Yes. Standing in our own power is energizing. I agree. And it's hard to practice and maintain, and we're going to do well at times and then we're not. And so how do we be compassionate and share our successes and reach out for support when we're struggling or we're sad, right? Like, that's all of that. So that's what I wanted to share today, is this important work of being sovereign, right? As a queen, we have the opportunity to truly be sovereign, which means that we have self-authority. And I think that that's the number one thing that lets us step into our power, and not from a place that we have to fight people, but from a place that we own responsibility to take care of, show up, love ourselves, and do what the right next step is for us. And that's what sovereignty means to me, is that I'm going to be responsible to what I really need, and I'm going to show up for Kate and do what needs to be done. Kind of be fearless, right? That's the name of my book, Be Fearless, because that's what it takes to I think, take to enjoy the beauty of having choice, because we've done the work to claim that freedom, right? To be us. So timely, great gratitude. Thanks, Michelle. So yes, pay attention. Be celebrating when you can set a boundary. Notice it. Love yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back. And keep seeing where the next step is to keep growing in that area. And if this is an area that's like painfully excruciating, like I have some stuff I could share with you, because I've worked on this a long time, and I don't think we ever get perfect at it. We don't need to be perfect, but this is an area that I think makes a huge difference in being successful, prosperous, happy, fulfilled in our life. We've got to get past the people pleasing and be willing to set the limits, to set the boundaries, know what we want, find out what we want, and make it happen. So happy Sunday, and I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your day. Please reach out. I do have some time this next week, some calls set aside if you want to jump on a call and just chat and see how I might be helpful. You can reach me. Actually, my website's down right now, so I will post my email in the comments, because someone just showed me that my website's down. I'm like, yay! So reach out. Let me know. And if you would like, please share what you got out of this, or what you're taking with you, or what you're inspired about from this Facebook Live. And thank you for joining me. Take care.